Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Elliott, and I'm here to explain a few things about your semester project template. In particular, I want to talk about slide number 6, which is diagram of the experimental and controlled setups. The easiest way for you guys to fill this in is to take a picture of the diagrams that you may have already drawn while you were doing your observations and setting up the experiment. And you can add those by emailing them to your school account or taking them with your Chromebook picture and adding them to your Google Drive. And if you go to Insert Image and click Drive, you'll find your Google Drive. This is my Google Drive and the stuff that I have on there. I might select something and then I would insert it in. But in my case, I wanted to show you something that could be a little bit of fun if you like to play around. And that is doing a digital drawing using shapes and lines in Google Slides. Now, some of the lines you could do, it's really very similar to like drawing if you're very good with a hand on the trackpad. But even I don't really like this, but using the scribble line, you can do this. It's kind of ugly, so I'm going to delete it. There's also a straight line function that's better, but I think we can do even better than that. So I'm actually going to delete this too. Instead of making you work really hard for it, let's do it the simplest way possible. I am looking for a shape that looks like a cup. And I found one, the trapezoid. So we're drawing a setup of our experiment, which was 4 cups. And here's one cup right here. I'm going to just flip it around 180 degrees. I touched this circle right here and it flipped around. And I'm going to make the inside transparent so I can see everything. I'm going to make the border black and maybe a 3 pixel line. Make it nice and thick so you can see. Okay, great. Now, if I click on this and press Control C, that's copy, and Control V is paste. If I make this cup smaller, because our cup on the top is smaller, I think that looks pretty good already. I'm going to just shift it around a little bit. All right. Here we go. We got a cup on top of a cup. And in order to draw the wick, I think we can go back to that scribble line. This is the cloth that went between the different parts, and it's okay if this is a little messy. And we'll make it even a 4 pixel line that's thick enough to see kind of what it should be like. You could make it even bigger, make it an 8 pixel line. Well, that looks good too. So that's the basic setup of the cup. Let's add another level with this cup. We'll make it the size of the bottom of the cup, but we're going to make it just a little bit shorter than the cup, maybe about half the height. And moving out to the side, right to the edge, right up to the edge again. Okay, and then I'm going to take the border color and make it transparent. That means we won't see it. And the fill color, I'm going to choose a blue. There's my water. Pretty good. If I click on this, however, and I go to order, I use a 2-finger click for this menu to come up, and then I push send to the back. Well, that's even better. Look at this. The cup is all set up to look like it's got some water. I'm going to have to move this cup around a little bit. There we go. It looks like there's water underneath it. That's awesome. We can do the same thing. Control C, Control V, copy and paste. And we're going to make some soil. That, and just so it's not confusing, there's a lot of lines in here. We're going to make it a little bit shorter. Again, the line is transparent and the color is like a brown. I'll tell you what, I don't like that brown very much. So I'm going to go into the custom color section and I'm going to take this brown, make it a little more gray because that's closer to the color my soil was. Same thing, I'm going to take this 2-finger click, order, send to the back. Okay, pretty good so far. Now we just need to add some seeds. The easy thing to do would be to take some circles. It's not exactly the shape of our seeds, our mung bean seeds, but it'll do. We make it green and we'll keep the black border, but I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, like maybe a 2-pixel border, because we're going to make these nice and small. Okay, I'll make it a little bit bigger than that. Okay, now I've got this. This is my seed. I'm going to Control C, Control V, and I can just keep pressing Control V till I have enough seeds, which I can move into my my setup, which is probably going to be the controlled setup because it's got water in it. And most of us change something out in our water. And you might have noticed, I'll stop right there and delete these. You might have noticed that I still only have 1 cup. Well, I'm going to label this cup, like I said, the controlled setup. And I can change the font if I want to, make it a little bit bigger. 24-point font sounds pretty good. And we can make it something fun, like permanent marker if we want. Perfect. Okay. Now the reason why I haven't made 2 is because I can click in the corner and drag a box around everything. And once it again, press Command C and Command V. And be careful when you do this so you don't unselect something, but move the whole thing over. And you've got another one, which after I click outside, I can modify this to be my experimental setup. Now, the only thing I need to do is change some things out. So if, for example, I may have to move this out of the way to get to the cup underneath. But so, for example, instead of water, I put Red Bull. And what color is Red Bull? I believe it's red. So change the color. And then we can move these pieces back to where they belong. Might take a little bit of work to get it exactly right, but you get the idea. This is a digital setup. The only thing that's missing now is labels, and we can put text boxes here. I'm just going to do 1, water, and then I can take this tool right here, the arrow tool, and draw an arrow that points to where the water is. Let's make that arrow bigger. All right. We're going to put, let's do one more. Let's put seeds. It's too big. We're going to make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to try to draw an arrow that points to one of these seeds. We'll make it a bigger line. And I'm going to move this down a little bit. There we go. We'll make the color much darker, much better. And we'll put this right here to point out where the other seeds are. Continue the labeling and you'll be done with your setup. Excellent. Good luck with this and feel free to ask questions as you have them.